Hi, it's Tom Sheehy with Sheehy Strategy Group in Sacramento, California. And today, May 12th, 2023, is the day that Governor Newsom released his May revision to the state budget he first unveiled back in January of this year. When Governor Newsom provided his budget to the legislature back in January of 2023, that was a budget that had to solve about a $21.5 billion budget deficit. Quite a change from last year when the governor was touting a budget surplus of almost $100 billion. The reality is that surplus never really did show up. The state ramped its spending up higher, and then the revenue didn't come in, and now here we're sitting with a big budget deficit. So what's changed since January is that the revenue picture has declined even further. And the May revision, Governor Newsom told us today in his May revision, the budget deficit is now at least $31 billion. There are a number of budget analysts and revenue forecasters here in Sacramento and in the state that watch the state's budget that think that number may actually grow considerably higher. The budget writers in Sacramento are having a very difficult time forecasting revenue because the Internal Revenue Service delayed the deadline this year for tax collection for turning in your 2022 tax return. They delayed it from the historical and usual mid-April, April 15th date. They've pushed it back to October. And as a result of giving taxpayers a lot more time to turn in their taxes, we've seen a real drop off in estimated payments. And so the bottom line is the California Department of Finance and other revenue forecasters really won't know for sure how much money they have to work with until October, when the tax filing deadline happens and everybody files their taxes. Now, one interesting thing that's come out of all of this, now that we have a budget deficit, is of course the Democrats in the legislature, they don't want to cut spending. They've made a lot of increases in education spending, health and welfare spending, and other social programs that are important to them and to the needy populations in the state that need that support. So they don't want to cut those programs. Knowing that they're facing now a $31 billion budget deficit, a couple of weeks ago, the Senate Democrat caucus here in California came out with their budget plan on how to balance the budget. And the centerpiece of it was a very large tax increase on corporate taxpayers here in California. It's interesting to note that the same day that the Senate Democrats proposed a massive tax increase here in California, Governor Newsom came out and said he wouldn't support that. In fact, he would not sign such a bill if it came down to his desk. Now, many people think that the governor said that so quickly to send a signal to wealthy people in the state that he wasn't going to support higher taxes, because we know that the top 1% of taxpayers in the state are already paying 50% of all the revenue coming into the state's personal income tax. So we don't know for sure why Governor Newsom has rejected tax increases so quickly, but he has. And some people think it's a way of him virtue signaling to wealthy people that he's not going to support that, because California has already lost a net 750,000 taxpayers over the last 2 years, and Governor Newsom doesn't want to see any more wealthy taxpayers leave the state. For the Sheehy Strategy Group, it's Tom Sheehy, and we'll come back and report more to you as the budget solutions and the state budget take shape and we see what the final package is going to look like. Thanks a lot from Sacramento. Bye now.